Hi, in this video I'm going to be demonstrating the table of authorities functionality in the JenDoc document automation system. So I'm going to come over here to the TOA tab, and you see we have all kinds of different features here. And the first group that we're going to look at is this adds fields group. And as you see, there's a few different kind of fields that you can enter into your document. And what these fields allow you to do is you can insert the field into your document and then you can populate it with content. And then there's going to be some advantages to having your content in these fields that we'll see as we go along. Okay, so I'm going to start with this outline section. I'm going to click the outline section button, and then you see I get this window that prompts me to name the outline section. And so I'm just going to put in a name for my section, change the section name. And now you see I have this section here, and I have a place to insert some content that is associated with this section. So I'm going to go ahead and do that now. Just going to put in some text that I had previously saved. Okay, now I have some content in my section. So now I have a section named opening statements, and I have some content in my section. And I'm going to add a few more sections, and then I'm going to talk a little bit more about these. So I'm going to do closing statements. And as you'll see here, there's a option to change the heading or outline level. Right now I'm going to keep it at heading 1, and in a minute I'll do some that are a different level. Okay, let me just put in a few more and call this one definitions. I'll put in one called First Amendment. And this one I'm going to change to a heading 2. And you see that the heading is a little bit smaller. We'll look at that some more in a second. Second Amendment. Also going to make this one a heading 2. Okay, and so now I have some sections in my document. And now I want to talk a little bit about how these headings are being styled. So these styles are coming from the styles that are set in Microsoft Word. So this blue text that is left justified, that is the default that comes with Microsoft Word that I just never changed. So you probably have changed your heading styles, and so whatever you have changed your heading styles to is how your headings are going to appear when you insert one of these outline sections. Okay, and so as you can see, this one is a heading style 1, this one is a heading style 2, and this one is also a heading style 2. And so you can change these right here as well. So if I change this to heading style 1, and I can change this one to heading style 1. We also can change them through one of the buttons on the TOA tab, and I'll show you that a little bit later. So we have a few sections here, and because these are inserted as outline sections, we also have this feature where we see this little caret here, and we can use that to collapse and expand these various sections. Now you see when I collapsed this last section, these two also disappeared. That's because they are level 2s under a level 1. And so when we collapse the level 1 that the level 2s are under, they are going to be collapsed as well. And so any level that's lower than the level above it is going to get collapsed when the level above it gets collapsed. So anyway, that's that. We can expand and collapse our sections. Okay, and now I want to show you another thing. So if I put some space here, you'll notice that when I put some space at the beginning here, because this was at the very top, these lines kind of inherited the formatting of this heading here. And it's a little bit of a pain to get rid of, so I created this button here to get rid of it, and it will get rid of those styles for you. And as far as I've seen, that's really the only situation in which it occurs, when you're at the very top of the document, put some space in, but you can use it whenever you want to remove the style, the outline style. Okay, so now I'm going to put in a table of contents into my document. And what you'll see is that because I've been creating these sections that are outline sections and they have these headings, the table of contents is automatically created for me because a table of contents is created from the heading styles. So I don't need to worry about building my table of contents, and you see that they're indented appropriately. These are level 2s, so they're indented under this level 1. And if I change one of these, which I'm going to do now, say I look at this and I say, okay, good. Definitions isn't really a good title. Isn't really a good, level 1 for these 2 level 2s. So I'm going to change this. So what I can do is change the name of this field. And you'll notice when I created this field that it's telling me what kind of field it is, and it's telling me the name that I gave to the field. So that's good if I want to just set up my document and create kind of like an outline or the bones of the document that I can fill in later, then I can do that. So for example, this is opening statements. And it's got this section that is nested inside of it, and I want to rename this section. I want to call this, so I can come over here to change fields, click this field name button, and now I can rename this section, and I'm going to call it content for the opening statements. Content for the opening statements, and you'll see this is body text because that is the style of the control, and I can change it if I want, but I'm not going to do that, obviously. And so now I change the section name, and now you see that the name of the field has changed. Content for the opening statements. So if I didn't have any text in here, and I wanted to come back later and fill this in, then I could do that, and I'd know what belongs there. Okay, so there's that. So now I'm going to change the name of this one from definitions to amendments. And now when I do that, you'll see that if I come up here, we got definitions, and I update my table, and now it's changed to amendments. So all I really have to do is update the table of contents, at the end or whenever, and it's automatically going to be built for me. Okay, so that is sections. And now I want to look at the TOA section. So this is another type of section. So I click that, and then I get this section put into, again, it's an outline type section that is put into my document, and this is where the table of authorities is going to be inserted. And so again, if I update my table of contents, we see that there it is, so we don't need to worry about putting it in there. Okay, and so right now we don't have any citations in our document, but we will. So let's do that now. So now the next field I'm going to talk about is the citation section. And so this is a section that allows me to insert a passage of text and then a citation that cites that passage of text. And it will all be grouped together as one unit. So if I click on this button, you see that I have the option to insert different forms of the citation. I can either insert the long form of the citation, the short form, or the id form of the citation. I don't know if id is the correct pronunciation, but that's what I'm going to be calling it all throughout the video. So let me insert a long citation. And you see I get this section here. It's a citation section. And then it has this field nested inside that is a long citation section. It's telling me to choose a long form of the citation. And so if I click this drop down here, I see all of these citations that I have previously added to the JenDoc system. And I'm going to show you how to do that at the end of the video. So I have all these citations, and I'm just going to pick one that I know I have all 3 forms of, so that I can make sure that I demonstrate all 3. So this is the long form of the citation, and then here I'm going to put a citation section with the short form, and you see it's telling me to put the short form. And down here, right at the end of this text, I'm going to put the id form of the citation. And so I click and I choose the id form. And so now you see I have this Lipke v. Washura in 3 different forms. I've got the long form, the short form, and the id form. And I would be interested in getting any feedback as to whether or not that is enough forms. Is 3 different forms enough, or would you need more short forms? Alrighty. So we have this 3 different times, and I want to show you another feature that we have that makes it easier for us to see our citations in the document. And that is, if I come over here to the citations group, highlight, I have the option to highlight all of the citations in my document. And now you see they're highlighted. So now you can see this is the long form, this is the short form, and this is the id form. You might look at this id form and you say, well, I can't tell what that is for. And so we have this button here that says show hide codes, and we are able to show the codes of the citations. And so you see here, I've got a code for each of the, and if we look at this one, we can see, okay, that's Lipke v. Washora. And I wanted to show you with this show hide codes, the way that you are normally told to show the codes is with this paragraph button, and that will work as well, but then you also get all of these other paragraph marks and the space marks and just a lot of extraneous marks that might make the document a little bit busy. So if you don't want to see all that and you just want to see the codes, you can use this button. All right, and so that's one way to tell that this one is Lipke, but there is another way we can do, and that is we can rename this field. So we see that this field is id citation, and then we can come over here and we can rename it, and we'll call it Lipke v. Washara. I think that's how it's, yeah, Lipke v. Washara. And then we'll change the name, and now this field is named Lipke v. Washora, and so it's easy for us to see what the field is. And should we decide to erase this field, like maybe we think this is going to be Lipke v. Washora, but we haven't filled it in yet. We haven't created the citation or whatever the situation is. Let me show you real quick. If I choose this field, and then I come over here, I have this button clear fields, and I click on selected, which is the selected field, and it will clear that field for me. So now if I come across, it just says choose an id form of the citation, but now I see that this citation is supposed to be Lipke v. Washora, so I can easily put that in, you know, and if I decide later that's not the right one, then again I can just change the name to whatever it should be. Alrighty, and you'll notice that that kind of cleared the highlighting. I just highlight it again. Alrighty, and then and so I wanted to show you that this is, let me see, this will be the passage cited by Lipke. Okay, and this, oops, this will be long form. Okay, and then this one is going to be, oops, this will be the short form. I'm just kind of labeling these so we can see, because I'm going to start moving these around. And this will be for the id form. Okay, and so now what I want to show you is that because these are all together as a unit, I can move these around. So now if I say I want to move this down here, I just move the whole citation section, and you'll see that all of it gets moved. The passage part, the citation itself, and the citation code that is associated with it. So this really helps cut down on errors, because you're greatly lessening the chances that this code is going to get separated from the citation itself. And again, the citation will not get separated from the passage that it's citing. If it does, if the code does get, the citation code does get separated from the citation, we have a button, we're going to look at it in a minute, find orphaned, that will help us identify those ones, but we've greatly reduced the chances that that's going to happen. And so, let me see. And so also over here with the clear highlight, we also have the option to clear the highlighting on all the citations. And let me put in a few more citations, because I want to show you a little bit more about this highlighting of the citations. But first, we now have some citations in our document. So let's come over here to Table of Authorities. We'll click the Update button, and we'll see that this Table of Authorities section has been populated with with our citations. And I just want to show you that I'm going to move this down to the end, this short form, because I just want to show you that it's going to get picked up no matter where it is. So I'm going to put it down here. So there's my short form of Lipke. And then if I come up here and I update my table of authorities, now you're going to see that it's on page 1 and page 2 because the long form and the id form are on page 1 and the short form is on page 2. So it's going to pick them up regardless of form, no matter where they are in the document. All right. So now I'm going to put some more citations in here so that we can look at a bit more. Actually, let me do this citation field. So if you just want to put the field and you don't want it associated with passage, you can do that as well. However, just be aware that this citation is now kind of free form. If you move it on its own. And see, none of this text moved with it because it's not associated with that text. So you can do that, but just be aware that it's not associated with a passage. Okay, and so let me put a few more of these in. Let me do, let's see, I think we'll do Blossom, and let me put one here, do a short citation, Shames, I'll put one here, do another id citation, we'll do Chachka, and then we'll put one here. It's gonna be did I do Antonov yet? I don't know. And then maybe I'll put some stuff here. And I'm just populating this because I don't want this section to get overwritten when I put this new section in. And I'll do another one here called, oh, I know what I want to show you, is this Johnson v. City of Phoenix. Okay, let's take a look at this Johnson v. City of Phoenix. So first of all, I'm going to highlight all the citations. And as you can see, these are all getting highlighted different colors. And so if we come over here and we look at this, we notice that this is actually a key. So these are the categories that the citations can appear in. And it's telling us the category name, the category number, and the color that the category is going to be highlighted. So each category is highlighted a different color. And this order that you see these in is the order that they are appearing in this table of authorities. Let me update this to reflect all of our new citations. So I just hit the update button again, and now you can see that all of our new citations are in there with their categories. And I just wanted to say, in all my readings, everybody is saying, don't do the table of authorities and the citations until the very end because it's going to mess everything up. And that's true. It will be mayhem, more likely than not. But if you use this field, this table of authorities field, and these other fields for the citations, you don't need to worry about that. You can do anything at any time. You can update it anytime. It's all going to be fine. It's not going to get messed up, as you saw. So that's another advantage to this system here. So what I wanted to show you was, if we look at this Johnson v. City of Phoenix, and I'm going to show you the codes on this. And we look at this. So this one actually has a pin site. I mean, I think that's the pin site. I'm not a lawyer, so if it's not, hopefully you can just follow along with the concept anyway. So this one has a pin site, but you see in the code it does not have a pin site. And so that is by design, because what that allows us to do is, if you notice up here, when we created our table of authorities, it was put into the table of authorities without the pin site, which I believe is correct. But again, I'm not a lawyer, so if that's not correct, I would appreciate some feedback on what actually is correct regarding pin sites. Okay, so we've talked about the pin site, and now this one's got some weird spacing. I'm just going to fix that. All right, and so we talked about that, and now I want to talk a little bit about this. I want to talk about the rest of the buttons here. Okay, so this order that these categories are in is a default order that is in Microsoft Word. And you see that when you come over here, you click the Mark Citation buttons and you click Category. This is where your categories are. So these first 7 categories are defaults, and I have not changed them. But you can change the order, you can change the names. I added 3 custom categories here. So you can add and change as you like, and this is where you do it. And that order is how your categories are going to appear in the table of authorities here. That's your default order. But you can change that. I have a button here that allows you to reorder your categories either alphabetically or manually. So if I click the alphabetically button, they're just going to be reordered alphabetically. Now if I update, they're going to go back to their default order. So if you want to do the reorder as one of the last things that you do in your document. So, but again, I can reorder them alphabetically, or I can reorder them manually. So if I click this one, then I get this pop-up menu. It shows me the order that they currently are in the document, which is alphabetical. And then I just can move them around. So say I want rules first, I want federal test category last. And I reorder, and my categories will be reordered according to how I've done it here. And you know, I can do that as many times until I get it right. All right. So there's that to reorder. Now this add asterisk button. In my reading, I found that apparently some jurisdictions you need to put an asterisk next to some citations, next to some authorities in the margin of the table. And so this add asterisk button allows you to do that. Just put your cursor on the one that you want an asterisk next to and click the button, and you can add asterisks. And it's a toggle, so it will take it out as well. Again, just put your cursor on the correct line and toggle it. If you update the table, it does disappear. So you will want to, again, do that last as well. You know, probably want to do the reorder and then do the asterisks as your very last 2 steps. So there's that. I actually would like to get some feedback regarding the placement of this asterisks is a little bit sensitive. Not a little bit. It is sensitive to the size, the style and the size of the font. So I'd be interested to know, this is the default font in Word. I'd be interested to know if people are changing the font, and if so, what are they changing the font style and size to, so that I can do a little bit of testing on that. Okay, so that's all the buttons here. We looked at this highlight. Oh, and I also wanted to let you know, I'm just going to clear. No, I'll leave them there. So these buttons here, they're not just a key. They're actually functional buttons. So say I wanted to clear only the regulations. I want to clear the regulations. And so I click this one. And now you see only the highlighting from my regulations has been cleared, and all of my other ones are there. And I can do that for any category. Say I want to get rid of constitutional provisions, you know, or it works the other way as well. Say I only want to see, say I have all of my clear, and I only want to see regulations. And so now that's only going to highlight the regulations for me. And there's another one down here. So, you know, these are all functional buttons. Okay. And next is the find. So, with the find, what this does is it allows us to find all of the citations in our document, and it's going to start at the beginning. So this actually right here is not functional right now, so I'm not going to talk about that, but right now it just allows us to find all of the documents, all of the citations in our document. All you have to do is click the Find Next button, and it's going to click, it's going to find the first one, then it's going to find the next one, it's going to find the next one, and so on and so forth until you get to the end of your document. And then when you get to the end of the document, I like to just, it's going to tell you you're at the end and do you want to restart at the beginning. I like to say yes. I had to scroll up to see it. Just because sometimes if you've had this open and you've done it before, you'll start somewhere in the middle of the document, so you might not get them all. So I just like to say yes a couple times just to make sure I got them all, or at least once. Okay, so there's that. I'm going to clear that highlighting. And so next is our find orphaned. So this is a situation in which, say we have one of these citations, and I'm going to show the codes, and say that somehow this citation has gotten deleted, but the code has not, right? The code is still in my document. But if I'm not showing the code, I can't even see. I can see the field is here, but I can't even see that code is orphaned. Or say this one, it just got messed up a little bit, right? That's not right. So now we have two orphan citations. So we can come to this orphan citation button, and all we need to do is click Find Next, and it's going to find see it's found the orphan citation code for us, asking us do we want to delete it. I'm going to say yes, get rid of it. And now you see it deleted the code, the orphan code, but the field is still there. So if I want to put it in again, I can do that. And if I had named this field, I would know what was there, right? If I had named it Blossom Farm Products or whatever. And so anyway, then I click Find Next, and now it finds this one for me that, got a little bit messed up. That's not actually, it's supposed to be this id at 69, but got a little bit messed up. So I'm just going to delete it. And it's asking me, do I want to restart my search? This orphaned one is where I would say yes a couple times, just to make sure you got all of the orphaned ones. And so then again, now this one is empty and I can repopulate it. So what happens if I have I'm going to clear this one. What happens if I have a couple of these fields? I have some of these fields in my document. And, before I move on to that, I just wanted to say with the Find Orphaned, currently it only finds orphaned codes. So if you have, if you just have the text of the citation, but the code is missing, it's gone, the orphaned will not find that right now. That's probably for future development, but right now it only finds orphaned codes. So next, I was going to talk about, I kind of lost my train of thought here. So we talked about blank fields. Okay, and so what if I have some fields in my document and they're blank, but I don't know where they are, right? I can look through there and try to find them, but the easier way is I have this button over here, Highlight Fields, and I have a couple different options here that I'm going to go over all of those. All blank citation fields, it's going to highlight all of my blank citation fields as dark blue color. And so now if I click that, now I can see where all of my blank citation fields are, right? And I can come through and just populate them. Okay, and so what if I have a blank citation sections? I can also highlight all of my blank section fields, and they'll be highlighted this purple color. And so now I'll see, and you'll kind of see, so now I see all of my blank fields that I need to populate. And so you see, so this one is completely blank, right? I don't have the passage and I don't have the citation. So that one will overwrite the blank citation fields. So if you do the blank sections, if you also want to see the citations, just do that one again. And now you see them separately. So this, I see that I need to put some text in here. This one is showing up, even though the citation is filled in, the passage is blank. So that's why this one is coming up blank. And that's the same with all of these. Even though these have citations, and if I want to highlight them, I can see that the citations are there, but the section itself is blank. So I need to put some text in there. And obviously this one does not come up because it has some text. All right. And so that is pretty cool. And so we've talked about all of these. Oh, one we did not go over is the section field. So let me show you a little bit about, so section is it's just a section. It's like in these, get rid of all this highlighting. In these outline sections, you have the nested section where you put your content. So it's just one of these. And you can just put, you just put some content in there, as we've seen. Put a little bit of random text in there. But this one, I want to show you something. Let me do this one. Okay, so now I have some text in here. I wanted to know, I have some functionality over here in the pleading paper section that allows us to format fields. And I'd like to know if this would also be helpful over here in the TOA section. If I could move it over here, or maybe I just move it someplace where it's more in a more general location and not specific to pleading paper. So this will allow me to format my field, so I can double space the field, I can single space it, or I have this block quote. And this will turn it into a block quote that will be aligned either left or justified. So if I align it left, then I get this. You'll see that the section changes to a green color, which means it's a block quote. And then I can, I can rename this section, and I'll call this the Supreme Court's opinion on Smith v. Jones, or whatever. And so I do that, and now I have this block section that is named. It tells me what it is. This last button, the fixed spacing, this is really kind of specific to pleading paper, but if it's for if your text is not lining up with your pleading paper numbers, it just adds a little bit extra space to make things line up correctly. Oops, I need to select the field. But I'd imagine this is not needed in the TOA section, but I'd be interested to know if these are. I'm thinking the block quote maybe should be added. Okay, so let me go back. So we've looked at all of these, and this section type is the only one that can be turned into a block quote. All right, and again, the block quote, that format is coming from the styles you have set. It's this quote style here. Whatever your quote style is, that's what you see. It changes a little bit when I hover over it. That's just because we also have left aligned this. So it's going to be the quote style and then left aligned or block or justified. All right. So we looked at all of these. We looked at renaming the fields. We looked at, okay, next is the field. We looked at changing the citation type. Oh no, we didn't look at that. Okay. So say I had put in, I'm just going to clear all this highlighting. So down here is where we clear the highlighting for the blank fields. So say I had put in this citation, Lipke v. Washura, and see it's a long citation. And what if I decided, well, that's not supposed to be a long citation? So I can come over here to the citation type and just choose the type I want to change the citation to. I'm going to make this a short citation. But before I do that, oops, undo that. But before I do that, I'm just going to rename this section so that I know what is supposed to go in there. So this is Lipke. So I'm just going to, but I want it to be a short form of the citation. So I come over here, short citation. And unfortunately, it does erase. It erases the citation. When you do that, future development may be able to preserve it, but for now you'll have to go back and refill it in. So now I can put in the short citation, or I say, okay, I want this to be the id form of the citation. And again, you don't have to name it before you do that. I'm just doing that so I know which citation goes in there. Change it to the id, and now I'll go and put it back in there. So you can change the citation type after you've already put it in there. Okay, and so we've talked about highlighting, talked about clear fields. Show hide field tags. So right now, all of our fields are in these sections that are called bounding boxes. That's the box with the little name up here. But we can change the style that we see it in. We can also do start and end tags. And so this will show us what our fields are in a different way. So we see here's our long citation. It starts here and it ends here. It's inside of this citation section that starts here and ends here. These can be these can be good for short fields, but anything long, sometimes it gets a little bit confusing. And so we have the bounding box as the default here. And then we also can just, if you're going through your document and you're saying, you know, they're driving me crazy with all this stuff, then you can just turn them off, hide the field tags, and then you can go through your document unharassed by these fields. But the default is the bounding box. All right, so there's that, and then we only have a couple more things to go over. And what I want to go over now is the field note. So I can add a note to my fields. So say that I had this citation section here, and I wanted to, or say I had this section here, and I feel like this section needs to be reviewed. So oops, that's the section name. So I can click on, choose the section, and then I click this add the change a field note button, and I get this window that allows me to change the note. So I'm going to call this needs review, and I'm going to change a note. It tells me that the note has been changed, but you see it doesn't look like anything has happened there, but I'm going to show you that something has actually happened. And say I say this needs review as well. And change a field note, needs review. Okay. All right, and so now I have those two fields that I would have marked as needing review. So then I can come over here to my highlight fields button, and I come down here to all fields by note. I click this, I get this window that shows me all of the notes I have put on my fields. And so if I click this and then click highlight, it's going to highlight for me all of the fields that I have marked as needing review. And then I can clear the highlight on those as well. And so then say I add more notes, say like this passage right here. I'm saying, so this is one way I envision that you could use this. So say I want to get somebody's opinion on this. I want Sharon's opinion. So I say, Sharon, please review, right? And I'm going to copy that because I'm going to put this on a few different ones. So I'm going to do that. Okay. And then I also and put it on here. Sharon, please review. And I'll put it on this one, this citation. Oops, that's a field name. Sharon, please review. Okay, so now I have three fields that I would like Sharon to review. So now I come over to highlight fields, all fields by note. And now I have this new one, Sharon, please review. And so I can highlight this, and now I can see in my document, I can see all of the fields that I would like Sharon to review, right? I clear it, or I can see all the ones just needs review for, you know, it's just a generic needs review. And so I see those fields that I had there. And currently they're highlighting the same color, so you probably are only going to want to do one at a time. But okay, so say I have this this Sharon, please review, right? So I highlight this, and let's say Sharon has reviewed this field, okay, this one here. And so she can come here on this field and change the name of it, and she'll say, she can either say, okay, this, or no, oh no, I'm sorry, not that, I'm sorry. I've done this wrong. She wants to change a field note. Okay, and now she has Sharon, please review. And now she can add, okay, that field is okay. Change a note. All right, and now you see I have this new one. And so if I do, I'm just going to clear all of them. And so now I have Sharon, please review. And we have the two that we had asked her to review. And this third one that she changed a name on, let me clear those highlights. This is the one that she has marked as okay, and you'll see that only that one comes up. Okay, and then say, so I'm going to clear the highlight on that one, and I'm going to go back to Sharon, please review, and now she's reviewing this one. And so she says, okay, this this might not be the right citation for this passage. Check X, Y, Z. Okay, and so she's changed that note, and now we have this new one, right? And I'm gonna clear the highlight on all these other ones. Okay, and so you know, and now she's put this note in, right? And so now she's given it back, the document back to the original author. So now the original author comes over here and views all fields by note, and they could say, okay, I want to look at this one, highlight it. Okay, so this is the field that Sharon is telling me. I asked her to review it. Now she's telling me, and you see it's a little bit long to see the whole thing, so I can just double click on it. So Sharon is saying, please review. This might not be the right citation for this passage. Check XYZ. And so I'm the original author, and so maybe I say, okay, yeah, you're right. That wasn't the right passage. So I'll make my changes. You know, I'll do Blossom Farm, and then I will change a note again, and I'll say maybe I'll say checked XYZ and changed. All right, and now I change a note, and then when I give it back to Sharon, she can see my changed notes. Or, you know, maybe once I change it, maybe once I change it, I just delete it because now it's done. So this one is not showing up. I might have to refresh it. So now it's gone. So now that one is gone because we're done with it, right? I changed it, it's right, and now. So anyway, you don't have to do that. That's just one theory I came up with how you could use the notes. You use the notes however you want to use them. You name them however you want to name them, and use them however you want to use them. So there's that. And okay, now we have just one last thing I want to show you, and that's the document summary. So as you see, we've named a few of these. Sections. And so I'm just gonna, okay, we got the First Amendment and all that. Okay, and so now if we click on our document summary, what this is going to do is going to create a new document for us that is going to be, there we go, that is going to be just kind of an outline of what our document is. So it's going to show us our table of contents, and it's just showing us that this section, table of authorities, it's not actually going to show us the table of authorities. It's just going to show us where it's positioned in the document. And then it shows us all of our sections. And what it is these are the section names, the names of the sections. So for instance, we called this one opening statements. And so we have this section opening statements, and under that we have a section, and here we're going to put the content for our opening statements, and these are color coded according to these. So you see these dark blue ones are blank citation fields that I need to fill in. These purple ones are blank sections that I need to fill in, and these other ones are the citations. So this is an id citation. The category is regulations, and it's Lipke, and I can see that here. That's why it's green. This one down here is a long citation. That is a federal test category. I'm not sure why the name on this one didn't show up. I'll have to take a look at that. But anyway, it shows you the short citations, you know, what they have, what's in my document, basically. These should be showing up for all the citations. They're not. I'll take a look at that. But so it basically just gives me an idea of how my document is looking, what's in it. It's kind of like the bones and the structure of the document. So I even could just, you know, create my create my document with all of my fields and have none of my fields filled in, but they could be named, and then I could generate my document summary, and I can see kind of like the outline and the flow of my document before I've populated it with anything. Or I can do this at any time. So I'd be interested to know if this seems like it would be helpful. Because if it is, then I can, I can fix these things and do a little bit of work on it. But if it's not helpful, then I'm just going to abandon it, probably. And you'll see here, these ones that are not highlighted, that's because this section is filled in. It has content. It's filled in with this content, actually. But that's why some of these are not highlighted. And you'll see, for instance, this short citation here, this kind of tan one. You see how it's highlighted this purple color because we have not filled it in yet. Not going to save that. So if I come back, let me find that one, that tan one. So if I come back here and I put some data in here, right? This is the Shames passage. So now that I have that data in here, and if I do my document summary again, then I will see that now it's not highlighted because it's actually filled in. It's no longer a blank section. So anyway, I think that's it. That's everything. I think we went over all of the functionality so far that is in the TOA section. So thank you for watching my video, and I'd appreciate any feedback that you have.